So if you're coming here today as a seeker, in other words, you define yourself as someone who is seeking a relationship with God, or you're seeking answers about God, let me thank you first for being here, for watching this message. It is an honor that you are here, and I'm glad that you've chosen to be with us. And I wonder what it is that this particular lesson from the Bible might have to say to you today. And as I was thinking about that and praying about it and asking God to give me some direction on that, I was directed back to verse 29 from today's gospel lesson. You can maybe scroll back up and take a look at that. And it said, "The work of God is this, to believe in the one He has sent." And so the answer for you today, or I think the word for you today, is that actions speak louder than words. I'm always intrigued by something. If you're here in the United States, year after year after year, the Gallup organization has taken a poll every year, kind of looking at the pulse of spirituality in America. And so, just about unchanged every year for the last number of decades, it's asked a simple question: do you believe in God? Or probably more specifically, do you think there's a God? Is there a higher power than man at work in the universe? And in America, pretty consistently, 95%, a little better than 9 out of 10 people inevitably will say, yes, I believe that there is. But we know from other statistics, 95% of people aren't Christians. 95% of people who believe that there's a God, that there's a higher power, do not take the next step in terms of figuring out, what does that mean to me? So if that's the case, if there is a God, so what? What does it mean? What relevance does that have to me? Is God something that just created the universe and then spun it into orbit and said, okay, I wash my hands of you? Or how does it work exactly? Well, that's probably the sort of thing that maybe has brought you to this particular point in your life, is trying to figure that out. Maybe so what? So if you're among that percentage of people who's already to the point where you say, okay, I know that there is more than this. There is more than being born, growing up, working for 50 years, retiring and dying on this playground we call Earth. There's more to it than that. I know that, but I'm trying to figure out what exactly is it. Well, the message is, it's time to go from talking about that to believing in it. Your head can only take you so far. It has to move into a heart-based kind of thing. And so in this particular case, I think the message is, if we kind of look back at this story, we have to believe in the power of Christ to feed us. I think these people in this story, in this gospel account, believe that. They wouldn't have shown back up a second time if they didn't believe Jesus had the power to feed them. They'd seen Him do it before. They'd witnessed the miracle. The problem is, somewhere along the way, they missed the point of what it really meant to be fed, what it really meant to be literally in the presence of God, to participate and take part in a miracle. And that's what I think God is asking of you today. It's not just to believe in a little moment of what Jesus Christ can do for you, but to believe in the entirety of it. The power of Christ, the reality that God knows who you are, that God created you, that God sent His Son to pay a debt of sin. Sin is that which comes between us and God. I sometimes describe it as being like static on the line, if you will. It's what separates us from God. So God is perfect. This 95% belief that we have in America. God is perfect. God created all there is. God is completely sinless and completely holy, and man is completely sinful and completely unholy. That's who we are. And so there is a distance between man and man's creator, God, and that distance is created by sin. Sin's not really popular to talk about. We live in kind of a ish kind of culture, but it's reality. We know that. We know we come into this world, we know the fundamental difference between right and wrong, and so there is distance between us and God that is brought about by sin. And the fact of the matter is we as human beings lack the power to save ourselves. We can't do it. There is a God. You and I, we're not God, and God loves us. So we're not the master of the universe. We don't have the power to click our heels or close our eyes and blink and suddenly save ourselves. We don't have that power. But God does. God has the power to save us. And God chose to do that by sending Jesus Christ into the world to take on our sin and our death and to conquer them once and for all. And that's what he did. And all he asked in return is that we believe in his power to do that. And so it's coming to a confrontation point, perhaps for you, where you have to decide once and for all, do you believe it? Will you put your trust in that kind of power, the saving power of Jesus Christ? And I could preach for another 5 days on this topic, but at the end of the day, I invite you to seek God, to pray to God and say, God, I do not have it all figured out, but I know this much, that you're there and I'm here and I can't save myself and I want to be in a relationship with you. And so come into my heart, invade my life, change it from the inside out, and help me and mold me into the person that you created me to be, because I'm tired of where I'm at. I'm tired of being apart from you. I was created to be with you, and I want to be with you. And have faith that God will do that, because God desires nothing more than a relationship with you. And so know that we will pray for you and with you as you're on this journey. Please send us a note and let us know how we can support you or pray for you or celebrate with you if you've made that decision. And know always